When someone insults you, mocks you, disrespects you, or tries to humiliate you, your natural instinct is to react, defend, or fight back. But that's exactly what they want. Today, I'll show you a darker way how the greatest minds in history dealt with disrespect, not by reacting, but by making their enemies fear ever insulting them again. In the realm of power, an insult is never a random act. It is a deliberate test, a probe into your composure, your authority, and your control over yourself. When a man insults you, he does not simply wish to hurt you. He wishes to measure you. He wants to see whether the mask of calm you wear can be broken, because the moment you react, the illusion of your strength begins to crumble. He discovers what stirs your emotions, what offends your pride, and where your weaknesses lie. And once your weakness is known, you are no longer feared, you are predictable. To understand this, you must first grasp the psychology behind every insult. When people insult you, they are rarely attacking the truth. They are attacking the image of you that threatens them. The insult is a mirror, reflecting not your flaws, but their envy and discomfort. A man will not throw stones at a beggar, but he will always throw stones at the throne. The higher you rise, the more arrows will be aimed at you, not because you have done something wrong, but because your mere existence reminds others of what they lack. The weak insult because they cannot compete in silence. When they fail to match your discipline, they attack your character. When they cannot outshine your presence, they mock your shadow. But the king understands this. To react emotionally is to descend to their level, to validate their attempt to pull him down. And so he does not answer the insult not out of fear, but out of superiority. He lets the noise pass beneath him like the wind passing the walls of his fortress. Those who rule their emotions rule perception. When you show no reaction, you do something far more powerful than responding. You unsettle them. Your calmness becomes their punishment. They expected you to defend yourself, to argue, to bleed emotionally before them, but you gave them nothing. In that silence, they begin to question themselves. They replay their own words, wondering if they went too far, if they've exposed themselves, if perhaps you are not as weak as they believed. The balance of power shifts back into your hands not because you fought, but because you didn't need to. The insult is, therefore, a disguised opportunity. It reveals who fears you and who resents you. It exposes the insecure and the jealous. The king listens to the insult the way a strategist listens to enemy whispers, not with emotion, but with analysis. What does this person want? What is their goal in provoking me? Where can this information serve me later? Every insult carries intelligence information about who is against you and why. When you start seeing it that way, every attempt to humiliate you becomes fuel for your psychological advantage. Consider how power truly works in social dynamics. The one who reacts becomes the servant of the one who provokes. Emotional reaction is submission in disguise. It tells the world that your mood is in someone else's control. But the king, the true ruler of himself, gives that control to no one. He maintains an unbroken frame, a state of inner calm that cannot be manipulated by words. And this frame is what people unconsciously respect and fear. There is also a deeper layer. The insult is a test not just from your enemies, but from life itself. The world will constantly challenge your worth through disrespect, rejection, and mockery. These are not curses, but trials, moments designed to see whether your self-belief depends on external validation. Every time you remain unmoved, you strengthen your mental fortress. You become untouchable not because no one dares to attack you, but because their attacks no longer matter. Understand this well. The crowd seeks reaction because reaction feeds them. They feed on your frustration, your defensiveness, your loss of composure. It entertains them, but indifference, that cold, regal silence, starves them. It turns their amusement into discomfort. They start feeling small in your presence, while you, by saying nothing, affirm your dominance without lifting a finger. An insult, then, is never about the words spoken. It is a psychological negotiation, a battle for control over emotional space. The one who stays calm defines the frame of that encounter. The one who reacts loses it, and once your frame is broken, you become easy to manipulate. That is why every ruler, every leader, every master of influence must learn to view insults not as personal attacks, but as challenges to his internal discipline. The stronger your control over your own reaction, the more others will hesitate to test you again. When you understand that an insult is never truly about you, you stop fighting shadows. You realize that most people speak not from power, but from pain, not from confidence, but from insecurity. They insult what they secretly wish they could become. And when you stop personalizing their words, you begin to see clearly who they are and what they fear most. From that vantage point, you no longer defend your image, you command it. In a world where men fight with words, the king wages war with silence. The average man believes that power lies in argument, in noise, in the desperate attempt to be heard. But the ruler knows something deeper. Words often reveal weakness, while silence hides strength. Silence is not the absence of action. It is the most deliberate form of control. It forces others to speak, to reveal themselves, to fill the void you have created. And in that void, their own insecurity begins to echo back at them. When you respond to insult or provocation with silence, you are not surrendering. You are dominating. You are forcing your enemy to confront the emptiness of his own words. Every second you remain unmoved. You are teaching him a lesson that your attention is a luxury he cannot afford. The fool talks to prove his existence. The wise man's silence proves his power. When the king remains silent, the court begins to whisper, "What is he thinking?" That mystery alone is enough to command fear. Silence confuses those who live on reaction. They expect a clash, a defense, a counterattack, something to assure them that their words have meaning. When none comes, their confidence begins to fade. They start to overthink, to justify, to stumble in their own argument. The king, meanwhile, observes in stillness. He speaks only when the silence has done enough damage. A single sentence after prolonged silence carries the weight of thunder because it emerges from control, not chaos. There is a discipline to this kind of silence. It is not the silence of cowardice or avoidance. It is the silence of strategy. The king does not speak every time he is provoked, because not every battle is worth fighting. He knows that speech can trap him. Once words leave your lips, they can be twisted, misinterpreted, or used against you. But silence cannot be quoted, cannot be blamed, cannot be turned into a weapon. It is the most untouchable armor. In courts, in relationships, in the games of influence, silence is a mirror that reflects the other person's soul. People will reveal themselves to you when you give them space to fill with their own words. They will confess, expose, and contradict themselves because most people cannot bear the discomfort of silence. It pressures them into unveiling their true motives. The king uses this as a weapon, not by speaking, but by listening deeply, by letting the silence expose what people try to hide. Silence also reshapes perception. The one who speaks less is often seen as more intelligent, more mysterious, more powerful. This is because restraint implies mastery over emotion, over impulse, over the need to be validated. In silence, you declare that you do not need to explain yourself. You make others do the work of interpretation, and in that work, they elevate you. They assign depth to your quietness, even when you simply choose not to waste energy. The true ruler knows that silence is communication in its purest form. It says, "I am in control." It says, "You cannot affect me." It says, "Your words are not worthy of my attention." This form of communication cannot be faked. It requires inner strength, a deep belief that your presence alone is enough to dominate any room. When you reach this level of composure, your silence becomes heavier than the loudest speech. People feel it. They adjust themselves in your presence. They lower their voices. They think before speaking. That is real authority, not commanded, but felt. In moments of insult, silence creates psychological imbalance. The one who insults expects energy in return. He expects to feel powerful by provoking a reaction. When that reaction never comes, he is left with his own frustration. He begins to look foolish, angry at the calmness of someone who refuses to descend. That is when silence turns from passivity into psychological punishment. It is elegant cruelty, the kind that leaves no marks, but inflicts deep discomfort. There is also a spiritual dimension to silence. The king understands that true strength is quiet. Storms may roar, but mountains do not move. In silence, you gather power. You preserve energy that others waste in noise. You allow the mind to sharpen, to observe without bias. Every word you do not speak becomes a deposit of power within you, ready to be used when it truly matters. The man who speaks constantly is like a leaking vessel. The man who holds his tongue is like a reservoir of force. When you are silent, you rise above the emotional chaos of others. You become untouchable because you no longer dance to the rhythm of their words. You speak when it serves your strategy, not your ego. And every time you withhold speech, you remind the world that you are not a participant in their noise. You are the observer, the judge, the ruler of your own composure. Silence, then, is not merely the king's defense. It is his sword, a weapon sharper than any word. Every insult you receive holds within it a secret weapon if you know how to use it. Most people see an insult as an attack, but the wise see it as information. In the world of power, information is gold. Every word spoken against you reveals something hidden: jealousy, insecurity, resentment, or fear. The one who insults you is, in truth, confessing his weakness. He is showing you the very place where his emotions control him. And if you can remain calm enough to see through his words, you gain leverage, the kind of leverage that can be turned into influence, manipulation, or victory. The first step in turning an insult into leverage is detachment. You cannot use what you take personally. If your pride is wounded, your mind is clouded. You must rise above the emotional fog and observe the situation like a strategist studying his opponent on the battlefield. Ask yourself, why did he say this? What does he want me to feel? What does this reveal about his perception of me? When you stop reacting, you begin analyzing, and that is when control returns to your hands. An insult is often a form of envy disguised as aggression. People rarely insult those they truly consider beneath them. They insult those they secretly fear or admire. It is easier for them to mock your success than to confront their own inadequacy. The king sees this clearly. When a man insults him, he smiles inwardly, for he knows that the man has just exposed his envy. To insult power is to acknowledge its existence. And once you understand that, every insult becomes validation in disguise, proof that you are seen, felt, and feared. But the king does not waste this knowledge on ego. He turns it into strategy. Suppose a rival mocks your competence in public. You do not answer, for the silence unsettles him. But later, in private, you praise him subtly, disarmingly. This unexpected grace makes him uneasy, for it exposes his own bitterness. You have reversed the dynamic. He attacked, expecting hostility, but received calm dominance. And now he feels smaller, perhaps even guilty, while you rise in the eyes of others as magnanimous, a ruler too powerful to be provoked. You have used his insult not only to strengthen your image, but to weaken his standing. Every insult also reveals the emotional structure of your opponent. Observe what kind of insults people use. Some attack your looks, others your intelligence, others your status. Each type points to what they personally value most and what they feel they lack. This is the map of their insecurities. The king collects such maps quietly, without reaction. Later, when needed, he can touch those same insecurities with surgical precision, breaking their composure with a single remark or silence. This is psychological warfare fought not with anger, but with understanding. Turning insult into leverage also requires mastery over perception. People are watching how you respond. If you respond with anger, they see vulnerability. If you respond with indifference, they see mystery. But if you respond with power using the insult to highlight the other person's pettiness, you win both the moral and psychological battle. The crowd begins to see you as unshakable, someone who cannot be humiliated because he refuses to play the emotional game. This perception alone multiplies your influence, for people follow those who cannot be rattled. There is another layer to this art, transformation. The king does not merely endure insult, he transforms it into energy. Every attempt to humiliate him becomes fuel for his inner strength. The pain others intend becomes discipline, focus, and silence sharpened into authority. To be insulted without breaking is to gain proof of your self-mastery. You start to see insults not as obstacles, but as opportunities to display your dominance through composure. This is the kind of quiet revenge that requires no words. You can even use insults to expose the weakness of others publicly, without ever appearing cruel. Imagine someone mocks you before an audience. You remain calm, smile faintly, and say, "I understand how you feel." In that single phrase, you shift the frame. You position yourself above emotion as if you are the one offering understanding, not seeking it. The crowd senses it. Your poise makes their aggression look childish. The insult turns against the one who spoke it, and the king's silence wins the court once again. There is power in knowing that insults cannot touch you unless you allow them to. The insult loses all weight the moment you refuse to carry it. And when you no longer carry it, you can use it freely as intelligence, as proof of power, as a tool for manipulation, as a spark for deeper observation. Those who hurl words at you unknowingly provide you with everything you need to understand them, control them, and rise above them. The king's mind works this way: detached, strategic, and always searching for what can be used. When you start thinking in this manner, you become dangerous because nothing others say can shake you anymore. You listen not to defend, but to collect information. You observe not to react, but to calculate. The insult, which once had the power to wound you, now becomes your weapon. And those who once sought to break your confidence will find themselves caught in their own trap, exposed, predictable, and powerless before the silence of a mind that has learned how to turn humiliation into leverage. In the psychology of power, the king understands that emotions are private, but perception is public. Power does not belong to the one who feels the most. It belongs to the one who appears the most composed. The world is not ruled by truth, it is ruled by appearances. People do not follow what is real. They follow what seems strong, confident, and unshakable. Therefore, the king never allows personal feelings to interfere with his public image. He may burn inside, but his face remains unreadable. He may be insulted, betrayed, or mocked, but no one will ever see him flinch, because the moment others see your emotions, they see your weaknesses, and in the court of power, weakness is blood in the water. The masses react to emotion, the ruler shapes it. Every gesture, every pause, every silence becomes part of the theater of dominance. The king knows that people believe what they see more than what they hear. If they see you lose control, you lose their respect. If they see you calm under attack, their loyalty deepens because they sense authority. This is the essence of leadership, not raw emotion, but controlled expression. The king never lets anger, sadness, or pride dictate his moves. He lets perception guide them. What others think of you determines how they treat you, and how they treat you determines your power. In the lower ranks of life, people argue to prove themselves right. In the higher ranks, perception is reality. It doesn't matter whether you are right or wrong. It matters whether you appear powerful or powerless. This is why the king chooses his responses not based on emotion, but on optics. When insulted publicly, he does not react impulsively because he knows the crowd is watching and the crowd decides the victor, not the truth. The one who remains composed wins, even if he says nothing, because his calm presence becomes a statement of superiority. The king understands that pride is a trap. To defend yourself against every insult is to tell the world that their opinions hold power over you. It is to place your emotions in their hands. The more you defend your honor, the more you reveal your insecurity about it. But when you stop defending and start observing, your silence becomes a crown. You give no one the satisfaction of seeing you disturbed. You rise above the attack not by fighting it, but by outlasting it. The insult fades, your image endures. Public image to the king is not vanity, it is protection. It is armor in a world where perception governs power. He crafts his image deliberately, as a sculptor shapes marble. Every interaction is part of the art. He knows that people do not analyze deeply, they judge instantly. If he looks confident, they assume he is right. If he appears unbothered, they assume he is in control. The king uses this instinctive bias to rule not just through strength, but through presentation. He knows that humans seek stability and gravitate toward those who project it. Even when the king feels fury burning within, he shows grace. This contrast between inner emotion and outer composure creates mystique. It makes him unreadable, unpredictable, and therefore untouchable. His enemies cannot tell whether their words have reached him. This uncertainty becomes their torment. They begin to imagine his silence as strategy, his restraint as power, and in time they start to fear him, for what cannot be read cannot be controlled. The king treats his image as a currency. Each action either adds to or subtracts from it. He spends his emotions privately, but he invests his appearance publicly. When he must act, he acts with precision. When he must speak, he speaks with purpose. Nothing is random because he knows that every careless reaction erodes the structure of respect he has built. Power is fragile when built on emotion, but unbreakable when built on perception. The king never forgets this distinction. In moments of public challenge, when someone tries to humiliate him, question him, or corner him, the king remembers one rule: never fight for pride, fight for perception. Pride is emotional, perception is strategic. The world will not remember what you felt, it will remember how you looked while feeling it. You could be boiling with anger, but if you stand tall and calm, history will call you composed. If you show your pain, it becomes spectacle. If you conceal it, it becomes legend. There is a reason rulers wear masks, not physical ones, but emotional. The mask is their power. It allows them to move through storms without revealing the thunder inside. People follow the mask because it offers certainty, even when the man behind it is uncertain. The king understands that the public does not seek truth. It seeks confidence. It seeks the image of control. To give them that image is to rule their perception, and to rule perception is to rule the world. This is why the king disciplines his emotions with the same precision he disciplines his army. Every reaction must serve the larger design. Every expression must be filtered through strategy. His feelings belong to him, but his image belongs to the throne. The world does not care about the man it watches the crown. The wise king knows this truth and lives by it, for he understands that power is not maintained through emotion, but through the mastery of how emotion appears before others. The king does not descend into the chaos of common conflict, because he knows that to fight beneath his level is to give power to those unworthy of it. The masses survive through noise, constant arguments, gossip, and drama for noise gives them the illusion of importance. But the king exists in a different realm. He does not compete in the marketplace of emotions. He rules it through detachment. To stoop to the level of those who provoke you is to step down from your throne and wrestle in the mud with peasants who crave your reaction more than your respect. The king understands that silence, distance, and restraint are his most regal forms of retaliation. When lesser men seek to drag you into argument, they are not seeking truth, they are seeking equality. They cannot reach your height, so they attempt to pull you down to theirs. The king refuses. He lets their words echo below, like shouts from a valley that never reach the mountain's peak. He does not need to prove his superiority. His indifference already does. This is the essence of true power, the ability to stay above conflict without appearing weak. His strength lies not in how loudly he can fight, but in how easily he can rise above the temptation to fight at all. Elevation, for the king, is psychological. It is not about looking down on others with contempt. It is about maintaining a higher state of control. When others lose themselves in anger or gossip, he remains composed, observing the spectacle from a distance. He knows that the one who reacts is controlled by the situation, while the one who observes controls the situation. Rising above the noise allows him to see clearly, to predict, to strategize, to act from power rather than emotion. This separation makes him untouchable, for no insult can penetrate the wall of calm he has built around his mind. The king does not chase validation because he already possesses it within himself. The loud need to be seen, the powerful prefer to be felt. He understands that attention gained through argument is fleeting, but authority built through silence endures. Those who constantly respond to every slight become prisoners of opinion. They bend to every whisper of approval or criticism, never realizing that both are forms of control. The king's detachment, however, is his freedom. He listens to neither praise nor insult with attachment, for he knows that both are tools of manipulation. To elevate above the noise is also to value your energy. Every time you react to someone unworthy, you pay them with your attention, the most expensive currency of power. The king spends his attention wisely, for he knows that whatever he focuses on grows. If he focuses on insult, the insult gains strength. If he focuses on his vision, his power expands. He chooses the latter. While others exhaust themselves defending their pride, he conserves his energy, building something far greater legacy. The world's noise is a test. It will constantly try to pull you into meaningless conflicts through envy, misunderstanding, or provocation. The king treats these attempts as distractions. He knows that those who are truly above never explain themselves to those below. If a lion argued with every barking dog, he would never remain king of the jungle. The king walks past the barking not out of arrogance, but because his direction is forward. He is too focused on his empire to answer the echoes of envy. In public, this elevation becomes a display of calm authority. When others argue, he listens. When they shout, he remains composed. When they provoke, he smiles faintly, knowing that their noise only exposes their lack of control. The crowd sees this contrast and naturally sides with the one who embodies strength. The louder his opponents become, the more foolish they appear next to his silence. It is not words that grant him dominance, it is poise. People do not follow the noisiest voice, they follow the calmest presence. The king's elevation also extends to how he thinks. He does not dwell on petty slights or insults because they are beneath the scale of his vision. His thoughts are occupied with creation, strategy, and destiny, not with defending his ego. Every moment spent arguing is a moment stolen from progress. He knows that power is not won in the noise of today, but in the silence of long-term thinking. Those who fight for ego gain attention for a day. Those who rise above it gain power for a lifetime. This mindset transforms his environment. By refusing to descend into the noise, he forces others to rise to meet him. His calm sets the tone of every room he enters. People mirror his energy. They speak more carefully, act more respectfully, and measure their words in his presence. This is the invisible gravity of composure. The king's refusal to stoop becomes a command to elevate. Those who cannot rise naturally fall away, leaving only those capable of understanding the language of restraint. To elevate above the noise is not merely to ignore the world, it is to dominate it through stillness. The king's presence becomes a reminder that true authority needs no defense. The higher you climb in power, the less you respond to those below. Your silence becomes a verdict. Your calm becomes the punishment. The world will continue to shout, to insult, to provoke, but the king stands unmoved, knowing that every moment spent above the noise strengthens the aura that keeps his throne beyond the reach of the ordinary. In the end, every insult, every act of disrespect, every attempt to provoke you is not an obstacle, it is a mirror reflecting your own level of mastery. The king's true power is not in how he conquers others, but in how completely he governs himself. The weak seek revenge to feel powerful, but the wise rise above vengeance because they already are. Every time you stay silent in the face of insult, every time you refuse to stoop, every time you choose perception over pride, you are building an invisible throne, one made not of gold or status, but of self-control. The world constantly watches for your reaction. The moment you defend yourself, they see doubt. The moment you remain still, they see strength. Power does not shout. It whispers through calmness, through restraint, through the ability to remain unmoved when everyone else is losing control. The king's psychology is simple yet merciless. Never react emotionally, never fight for validation, never descend to be understood. Let the world speak while you act. Let them doubt while you build. Let their noise feed your silence. Those who understand this law become untouchable. They no longer fear insults, rejection, or betrayal, for they know these are merely tests of discipline. The king wins not by responding, but by mastering the only battlefield that truly matters, his own mind. And when that mastery is complete, no insult, no enemy, no chaos can ever dethrone him.